Ladies and gentlemen, success is not a coincidence. It is the child of discipline, born in the quiet hours when the world is still asleep. The sun does not rise to wake us, it rises to challenge us. And those who answer that call early are the ones who command their day, their destiny, and their legacy. This is the power of the morning, and this is why I say, morning wins, life wins. Let me ask you something. What do you own when the clock strikes 5 in the morning? You own silence, you own clarity, you own time before the world lays its hands on it, you own power. Mornings are when the winners separate themselves from the watchers. It's the hour where your thoughts are pure, undistracted by noise or demand. It's when your mind is fertile soil and your actions are the seeds. You see, how you begin anything shapes how you end everything. A champion does not start his training in the arena. He begins in the shadows, before the lights, before the crowd, while the world still sleeps. That champion is born in the morning, but make no mistake, the morning does not gift you success. It offers you the opportunity to take it. What you do with that opportunity determines your altitude. Let me share with you a truth. The morning is not just a time of day. It is a state of discipline. You don't wake up early because it's convenient. You wake up early because you've decided that comfort will never command your life again. You build your mind, your body, and your purpose in those golden hours. You read, you train, you plan, you visualize, you command your emotions before the day dares to test them, because when you win the morning, you show the world that you are in control. Look around you. Every empire, every invention, every extraordinary life began not with a lucky break, but with deliberate, consistent habits shaped in the unseen hours. So I ask you, are you ready to wake up to your greatness? Every time you choose to rise early, you make a declaration, my life is not accidental, it is intentional, and each morning you win compounds into a week you win, a month you win, a year you conquer, and ultimately a life you command, because the morning is your first victory. And victory loves momentum, so go now, set the alarm, not just on your clock, but in your soul. Wake up with hunger, wake up with fire. Wake up with vision. The world will not give you what you want. It will give you what you claim. Morning wins, life wins. Thank you. The morning is a strategic asset. Not merely a stretch of time between darkness and daylight, but a sacred space where your mind is untouched, your energy is undivided, and your choices are your own. When most of the world is still resting in slumber, you stand at the helm of your own ship, free from noise, free from expectations, and free from interruption. This is the rarest kind of time that belongs entirely to you. And how you choose to spend it will either build your foundation for greatness or slip silently into the hands of another wasted day. In the early hours, your mind is in its most receptive state. It hasn't yet been bombarded with the external whirl, emails, social media, traffic, obligations. Your thoughts are raw, real, and uninfluenced by the agendas of others. That purity is what makes the morning so powerful. It gives you a clean mental canvas to paint the kind of life you envision. With no distractions, your thinking becomes strategic instead of reactive. You're not solving problems yet. You're designing outcomes. Most people start their day by responding. They reach for their phones, read messages, check updates, and enter a cycle of reaction that steals their control before the day even begins. But you're different. You understand that the morning is not about catching up. It's about getting ahead. It's the only time when you can lead your life instead of being pulled through it. Think of the greatest thinkers, the most effective leaders, the top performers in every field. They all treat the morning with reverence. They protect it. They use it because they know what most people ignore, that the early hours multiply their effectiveness. An hour in the morning is not equal to an hour in the afternoon. Why? Because in the morning, your willpower is full, your decision fatigue is non-existent, and your ability to focus is sharpest. That's a formula for productivity, clarity, and acceleration, and it's free for anyone who's willing to rise and claim it. Time in the morning is not just useful, it's strategic. It's when you prepare not just for your day, but for your life. You can take that hour to set your goals, align with your values, sharpen your priorities. You can train your body, strengthen your mind, or deepen your knowledge, and when you do, you walk into the rest of your day with power, with direction, and with a sense of inner victory, because before the world even asked anything of you, you already showed up for yourself. The beauty of the morning is not just that it gives you time, it's that it gives you control. The rest of your day may demand compromise, people will need you, challenges will arise, energy will dip, but your morning is your fortress. It's where you can define your tone, your thoughts, and your pace. It's the place where intention is stronger than obligation. Even if the rest of the day goes sideways, if you won the morning, you still won. Because you anchored yourself in purpose. You made your mind stronger. You made your values louder than your emotions. You acted instead of waiting. That kind of start is not just a productivity boost. It's a declaration of who you are and what you stand for. And here's what most people miss: consistency compounds. It's not about one magical morning. It's about stacking small, consistent, strategic mornings day after day until your life shifts. Until success isn't something you chase. It's something you are. The person who rises early to sharpen their thoughts, move their body, and align their mission doesn't just have better days. They have a better trajectory. They live with direction, not distraction, with power, not pressure. The morning is the ultimate competitive advantage. It is a block of time that separates the dreamers from the doers. It belongs to those who dare to take responsibility before the world asks them to react. It is not merely about being early. It's about being ready, ready to lead, ready to grow, ready to create. That readiness, cultivated in the stillness of morning, becomes the silent force behind every visible success. So when you treat your morning as the most important meeting of your life every day, you start to realize that meeting was always with your destiny. Discipline is greater than comfort. This is not just a motivational phrase. It is a universal law of progress. Everything you want in life, every goal, every transformation, every dream that's ever kept you awake at night is sitting quietly on the other side of discipline. Comfort is the tempting detour that tries to delay your evolution. It's the soft pillow, the extra hour of sleep, the warm bed that whispers, "You've earned rest." But discipline responds with something stronger. It says, "You haven't earned the life you dream of by staying here." And that voice, that firm yet honest voice, is what builds greatness. When the alarm goes off in the early morning hours, no one feels truly motivated. No one springs out of bed every day like a machine. The truth is, the gap between those who achieve extraordinary things and those who don't is not filled with talent or luck, it's filled with choices. The choice to get up when you don't feel like it, the choice to move when your body wants stillness, the choice to do the hard thing repeatedly without applause or recognition, that is discipline. It doesn't wait for emotion. It moves on decision. Comfort tells you that it's okay to relax a little longer, to skip today, to start tomorrow. But discipline tells you that tomorrow is the most dangerous word in the vocabulary of failure. Discipline lives in the now. It acts in the moment. It doesn't negotiate with weakness or entertain excuses. It recognizes that every time you give in to comfort, you are training yourself to settle, and every time you rise above it, you are training yourself to lead. Every successful person you admire has a relationship with discipline that runs deeper than desire. Desire is easy. Everyone desires success. Everyone wants the result, but few are willing to earn it daily, in silence, in sacrifice, in struggle. Discipline is what separates those who dream from those who do, because it keeps you going when motivation is gone, when inspiration fades, when the results haven't shown up yet. It's the bridge between vision and reality. Without it, goals remain ideas and potential remains wasted. You don't wake up disciplined. You decide to be disciplined. You don't need the perfect plan, the perfect mood, or the perfect timing. What you need is commitment. You train your mind the way you train your muscles, by pushing against resistance. Each time you do something hard on purpose, each time you say no to distraction, each time you push through discomfort, you are building a stronger, sharper, more focused version of yourself. That version of you is the one capable of building a meaningful life. People often say they lack motivation. What they really lack is obedience to their own vision. They have the goals, the plans, the dreams, but not the grit to obey them when it's inconvenient. Discipline is self-respect in action. It says, I care enough about my future to not betray it in the present. It's how you honor your commitments to yourself. And when you begin to follow through on those internal promises, something powerful happens. You trust yourself more, you believe in your ability to shape outcomes. That belief builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. Discipline doesn't require you to be perfect. It requires you to be consistent. It's not about doing everything, it's about doing something every day that brings you closer to your goal. It could be showing up at the gym, writing one page, reading for 30 minutes, waking up at 5 a.m. Whatever it is, it's not the size of the action, it's the strength of your commitment to act. And over time, these small acts of discipline begin to reshape your identity. You stop identifying as someone who wishes and start seeing yourself as someone who works. You begin to walk with a different posture, speak with a different tone, think with a different depth. That's because discipline builds character, and character becomes the root of everything else. Your habits, your standards, your results. Discipline raises your bar. It makes it harder to tolerate mediocrity and easier to pursue excellence. You begin to hold yourself to a higher code, not because others expect it, but because you demand it from within. There will always be days when comfort seems more appealing, but remember, comfort is a thief in disguise. It doesn't steal your dreams overnight. It takes them slowly, one skipped effort at a time. Discipline, on the other hand, gives. It gives strength, clarity, momentum, and freedom. Because the more disciplined you become, the fewer regrets you carry. You live knowing you showed up, gave your best, and chose growth over ease. So when you stand at the crossroads of comfort and discipline, always choose discipline. Because comfort may offer short-term relief, but only discipline delivers long-term reward. Success is built in the unseen hours. The world often celebrates the outcome, the gold medals, the best-selling books, the breakthrough performances, but it rarely sees the process. The discipline, the repetition, the sacrifice, the lonely mornings and quiet nights when no one is watching, no one is clapping, and no one is validating your efforts, that's where real success begins. It is never in the spotlight, it is born in the shadows, in the moments of silence where choices are made that no one else will ever know about, and it is those choices, invisible to the world, that ultimately determine the quality of your results. When you wake up before the world stirs, when you choose study over sleep, when you write, train, build, or reflect in the early hours, those moments shape you. That's when you build not just skill, but identity. You become someone who follows through, someone who chooses commitment over comfort, someone who does the work whether there's an audience or not. The unseen hours are a test. They are not glamorous, but they are necessary. They are the crucible in which your mindset, habits, and inner strength are forged. People often look for shortcuts to success. They search for the right technique, the perfect system, the fastest route to the goal. But the truth is, there are no shortcuts that bypass the requirement of effort in the dark. There is no replacement for the hours you spend improving when no one is asking you to, no one is watching you, and no one is rewarding you. That is when the foundation is built. And the strength of your foundation will determine how high your life can rise when the moment to shine finally arrives. The unseen hours are your training ground. They are where you practice your craft, refine your focus, and align your actions with your purpose. It's in these moments that the distractions are fewer and your intentions are clearer. There is a rare kind of clarity that exists when the world is quiet. You can hear your own thoughts, you can feel your own ambition, and you have the space to mold it, to sharpen it, and to act on it without interference. Most people only perform when others are watching. They put in effort when there's pressure, when there's competition, when there's judgment. But greatness is not reactive, it is proactive. It is created by those who treat the empty gym like the final game, the rough draft like the masterpiece, the early morning like the final deadline. When you treat every unseen hour like a defining moment, you train yourself for excellence, not just external success, but internal strength. You become someone whose standard is not based on the environment, but on your own values. In the unseen hours, there are no excuses. There is no one to blame, no one to impress, no one to disappoint but yourself. That kind of accountability is powerful. It strips away the fluff and forces you to face your discipline, your drive, and your depth of purpose. You get to see what you're really made of. Can you push when it's inconvenient? Can you rise without applause? Can you do what needs to be done even when no one will ever know? That's the test that separates the average from the extraordinary. The average wait for the right mood, the right moment, the right motivation. The extraordinary create the moment, they make the mood, they show up regardless, because they understand that the compound interest of small, invisible efforts is what leads to visible, undeniable success. And here's the truth: the world will see the final version. They'll see the speech delivered, the body transformed, the company launched, the book published. They'll praise it, they'll admire it. But they won't see the alarms set in darkness, the hours spent refining, failing, tweaking, starting again. They won't see the skipped parties, the early nights, the quiet mornings filled with sweat, focus, and solitude. But you will know, and that's what makes it real. Every time you choose to work in silence, you're not just preparing for a moment. You're creating a lifestyle, a way of being that becomes immune to circumstance and rooted in intention. You're teaching yourself that success is not something you perform for others, it's something you live for yourself. The unseen hours aren't just part of the process, they are the process. They are where confidence is born, where skill is developed, and where identity is built. So if you're serious about building a life of excellence, stop waiting for the spotlight. Start embracing the shadows. That's where the work gets done. That's where success begins. And that's where greatness is quietly, powerfully, relentlessly built. Winning the morning creates life momentum. This is not a metaphor, it is a mechanism. It is how energy builds, how consistency compounds, and how direction becomes destiny. Each morning is not just a beginning of another day, it's a launch pad. The decisions you make in those first waking moments form a ripple that echoes through every hour that follows. When you choose discipline first thing in the morning, when you choose movement, clarity, and intention before anything else, you start a chain reaction of winning. That first decision to rise with purpose puts your mind and body into motion, and motion breeds more motion. That's how momentum is born. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in human performance. When you have it, things seem to flow, confidence builds, focus sharpens, you feel capable, you feel clear, you act with decisiveness. But momentum does not appear by accident. It is engineered by how you begin. The way you begin your day speaks to the level of control you have over your life. If your morning is chaotic, reactive, and unfocused, chances are your day will follow suit. But if your morning is grounded in structure, intention, and power, your day will respond to that energy. And when you stack enough of those days together, your life begins to shift. People often underestimate the first hour of their day. They think it's a warm-up or a buffer, but that hour is your foundation. Win it and you enter the day with purpose. Lose it and you're playing catch-up from the very start. Morning victories don't have to be grand. They just have to be intentional. Maybe it's waking up at a specific time, working out, journaling, reading, visualizing your goals, or even just sitting in silence to set your mental tone. These aren't just routines, they are declarations. They say, I am in control, I'm leading my life, not following it. The reason morning wins are so potent is because they often require overcoming resistance. It's never easy to rise early, to move your body, to sit and reflect when the bed is warm and the mind is foggy. But by choosing discipline in that state, you send a message to yourself. Your future matters more than your feelings. That inner message is what becomes internalized over time. You begin to see yourself as someone who acts, not reacts. Someone who moves with intention, not impulse, and that self-perception becomes a selfful, self-fulfilling prophecy. Because the more you believe in your ability to control your start, the more you believe in your ability to control your outcomes. Momentum built in the morning does more than help you feel good. It enhances your ability to perform under pressure. When you've already accomplished something meaningful before the world even starts moving, you've created a psychological edge. You no longer chase the day now follows your lead. This forward energy carries into your conversations, your decisions, and your problem solving. It boosts your confidence, sharpens your focus, and grounds your emotions. Winning the morning becomes your anchor in a world full of distraction. There's also a compounding effect to morning momentum. When you string together multiple days of strong starts, your capacity increases. You don't just become more productive. You become more powerful, your mental toughness grows, your tolerance for excuses shrinks, and your goals feel more within reach because every morning you're getting one step closer. One workout, one page, one focused hour at a time, these small, intentional victories are stacking. You may not notice them right away, but soon you'll look back and realize that you've built something massive from the smallest beginnings. Momentum is rarely built in bursts of dramatic action. It's built in rhythm, in patterns, in commitment repeated over time, and morning is the ideal place to build those patterns. There are fewer distractions, fewer obligations, no one's asking for your attention yet. It's the only time where you can fully own your energy. That ownership is a gift, and when you use it well, you create days that move you forward, not sideways. Think of each morning as a matchstick. Strike it with the right spark. Focus, movement, purpose, and you light a fire that can burn through the rest of your day with power. Ignore it, and you start your day in darkness, stumbling, distracted, unsure. But light enough matchsticks in a row, and you don't just burn brighter. You become unstoppable. That's what momentum does. It takes effort and transforms it into energy. It takes repetition and turns it into results. And it all starts the moment you decide that the first victory of your day belongs to you. Because once you win the morning, you stop chasing progress and start compounding it. That's how momentum becomes your greatest ally in the pursuit of a winning life. Your habits write your future. Every action you repeat, every choice you make without thinking, every pattern you allow to guide your day. These are not random, they are scripts, and those scripts are shaping your outcomes whether you realize it or not. Success is not built in sudden, dramatic events. It is built in what you do repeatedly. The small, almost invisible actions that become part of your routine are the very things that create your results. If you want to know what your future looks like, you don't need to consult a crystal ball. You just need to examine your habits. Most people believe they need massive change to build a new life. They imagine grand resolutions, overnight transformations, dramatic sacrifices. But the truth is, the future is written in small, consistent behaviors. Waking up early, eating with intention, spending 10 minutes in reflection, taking small actions toward a goal each day, these are not insignificant. They are powerful because they build momentum, they accumulate. Like drops of water filling a jar, each habit, no matter how small, moves you closer to the life you want, or the one you fear, depending on what that habit is. Your habits are your daily vote for the person you are becoming. If you want to be disciplined, act with discipline. If you want to be focused, practice focus. If you want to be confident, take action in the face of fear. It's not about being perfect. It's about being predictable. When your actions align with your vision day after day, they become your identity. And once something becomes part of your identity, it becomes automatic. You no longer have to force yourself to act in alignment with your goals. You naturally do so because it's who you are. This is the quiet power of habit. It removes decision fatigue. It eliminates the debate. Instead of waking up and deciding whether you'll train, read, write, or work, you simply do because it's what you do. This automatic alignment with your purpose is what creates unstoppable forward motion. But it works both ways. Just as empowering habits lift you, disempowering habits weigh you down. Skipping the hard things, delaying action, giving in to comfort, checking your phone instead of doing the deep work, all of these actions seem harmless in the moment, but they're teaching your mind that mediocrity is acceptable. That delay is okay, that potential doesn't matter, and potential that is not activated becomes pain, the pain of regret of what could have been. That pain is almost always the result of unchecked habits. Not because the person lacked intelligence, talent, or resources, but because they didn't take control of the small things. The truth is, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. That's why you must treat your habits like gold, audit them, protect them, design them intentionally. You become what you repeat. If you start your day with discipline, move your body daily, feed your mind with growth, and stay clear on your mission, your results will reflect that. If you allow distraction to lead, allow your mind to drift, and make excuses your daily companion, your life will reflect that too. The compound effect doesn't care what you feed it. It simply multiplies what it's given. That's why habits are not just actions, they are investments. Every one of them is either a deposit into your future or a withdrawal. There is no neutral. What makes habits so important is their stealth. They don't feel important in the moment. No one claps for you when you make your bed, say no to junk food, write a paragraph, or walk for 10 minutes. But do those things every day and they reshape your mind, your body, your time, and your trajectory. That's why successful people obsess over routines, not because they want structure for the sake of structure, but because they understand that structure is the foundation of freedom. With the right habits in place, you free your energy to focus on creation, contribution, and leadership. Habits also determine how you respond to adversity. When life hits hard, it's your habits that hold you steady. When uncertainty rises, it's your habits that provide clarity. When motivation fades, and it always will, it's your habits that carry you through. They are the autopilot system of your character, and if you've designed that system with intention, it will serve you no matter what comes your way. So if you're serious about building a future you're proud of, don't chase outcomes, craft habits. Set small targets, be consistent, build systems that support who you want to become. You don't need to predict your future, you are already writing it, one habit at a time. When you rise early, choose discipline over comfort, work silently in the unseen hours, build unstoppable morning momentum, and intentionally shape your habits, you are not just living a good day, you are engineering a powerful life. Every morning becomes a chance to declare victory before the world even wakes up. Every choice becomes a vote for the future you want to create. The truth is, success isn't complicated. It's built in silence, anchored in discipline, repeated through habits, and fueled by relentless intention. Morning wins are life wins, not because of what they give you instantly, but because of who they train you to become consistently. So if you truly want to change your life, don't wait for the right moment. Create it each morning. Own your morning and you will own your future.